Hello everyone, Faye here from Twilight Crafts. I thought I'd just create a short video just to talk through some tips and tricks to re-stick your cutting mat. So the first thing that you'll notice is I've got the Brother Scan and Cut mat, and I've also got an Artistics mat. Both of these are compatible with the Scan and Cut machine, which is the digital cutting machine Debbie and I both use. And the one thing you'll see is we have stuck a Cricut mat onto the Scan and Cut mat. So in our opinion, the Cricut mat is by far the best cutting mat. We just love it. Unfortunately, the Scan and Cut mat doesn't live up to the kind of usability that other cutting mats do. But this is the mat that we need to use to fit the Scan and Cut machine that we've got. But we've seen online a bit of a hack where you can use the Cricut mat on the Brother Scan and Cut mat. And so you just cut it down. So standard Cricut mat, and you cut it down. All I've done here is cut the top and bottom off the mat. And then you can just stick it straight onto the Brother Scan and Cut mat. So similarly, this Artistics mat I've used and used. I've scrubbed it and cleaned it as much as I can, but I have restuck it, and so the adhesive has gone really old. So what I'm going to do with this mat, again, this Artistics mat, available from Amazon, and is compatible with the Brother Scan and Cut digital machine. The most important thing is to make sure these sensor dots are not covered. That's really important. And you try and position it as close to the 12 by 12 grid as you can. Now I use trusty ATG tape. This stuff sticks anything. And all I do is make sure it's got a really good outline of double-sided tape, and once it's on, it really doesn't move. So I do use plenty of ATG in a kind of grid method, not too fast, otherwise it won't stick, so a bit slower. And then you will find this won't be going anywhere. So last little bit. Once this is on, it's not going anywhere. You want to try and avoid any little blobs of glue because this needs to be nice and flat. So I've got a bit of ATG tape that's bobbled there, so I'm going to get that off. So this means that your Brother Scan and Cut mat, in our view, is so much easier. So let's move the Scan and Cut mat out the way. I'm just going to work on the Artistics mat and put a nice new layer. And actually the reason why we do this is the Cricut mats are so much cheaper. They're only about £8 in the UK, and actually the durability and usability of it is just amazing. So that is on there, ready to go, and obviously it's still got the protective film which I keep on there, and then that means my Artistic mat can go on and on. Now, even though it's slightly thick, you might need to adjust your blade height a little bit. I don't have the SDX Auto blade. But it cuts beautifully, and that is just the Cricut standard grip cutting mat. So that's that. If you want to actually replace the mat. But the other thing that I do is, you might find when you've had lots and lots of cuts that the stickiness of the mat is gone. And so what I do there is, there's a few little hacks. You can get a glue pen. So actually the chunky zig two-way glue pen works brilliantly. That's a little bit more expensive. Another really cheap hack is a pound shop glue pen. It's exactly the same stuff, and you actually just re-stick the mat. You let it dry and then just add the glue pen. Now, the one thing you want to do before you do that is get some all-purpose spray or some washing up liquid and a credit card. So I've got a very cheap old credit card, and you want to make sure you scrub it and just scrape off any of the paper fibers. So you can see I've used black paper here, and you just want to make sure you scrape off any of those fibers as much as you can to make sure the mat is scrubbed and totally clean. Then leave it, then taking whichever glue pen you've got. So I'm going to have a go with just the zig, and you are just going to start to along the grid. I often follow the lines and I start to work my way along. Now you can probably see it will dry clear, but you can see it's a slightly blue color, and you can just start to spread. And as this, when this dries, your mat is tacky again. Now, if you find it's too tacky, because delicate cut files obviously want a low tack, get an old t-shirt or a tea towel, a piece of fabric, and just press it over. A bit of that lint will take away some of the stickiness, because you want it restuck and tacky. But if it's just too sticky, you are not going to be able to lift that cut file off without tearing it, particularly for delicate cut files. So you can see the zig pen has just provided a layer of stickiness, but equally good old pound shop glue pen, who'd have thought, it's exactly the same stuff in my view, but cheap. And these pens allow about 4 surfaces of re-sticking. So totally recommend re-sticking your mat. So yeah, first option is to actually replace the surface of your mat with a Cricut mat, and again that will go on and on. And the scan and cut mat, as you can see, they just seem to be a bit too flimsy for my liking, and the ends curl. So this just provides a more durable cutting surface. So that's it, how to resurface your cutting mat and how to re-stick it using glue pens. Thanks for watching, everyone.